Nation, and welcome to this month's Top 10. So, this month's Top 10, in honor of the movie Gladiator 2, which comes out this weekend, I am going to be doing my Top 10 historical epic films. Now, the only thing I decided on was that the movies did not have any gunpowder involved. So, films that, like, movies set in, like, the Old West, or, those type of movies, I decided not to include those movies, but movies that were like sword and sandals, historical epics. Those are the type of movies that are included in this top 10. And I have a lot of good movies on this list, and I have movies that I didn't even involve in this list that are really good. So guys, sit back, relax, and enjoy this month's top 10. At number 10, I'm going with The King. The King is a movie that starred Timothy Chalamet. It's about him becoming King of England and about his rise to power and how he has to unite the English people. This is a very good movie. It was on Netflix a few years ago. It debuted on Netflix. Also, you have a Robert Pattinson with a French accent, and he plays the rival to Timothy Chalamet's character, and it's just very dynamic. I wasn't crazy about the ending, but it is based off history, so I think this movie's really cool. And if you have not checked out The King, it's really cool, especially the battle scene where they decided not the battle scene in the mud to trap the French soldiers, and where the armor would weigh them down was just such a good in that movie. Also, I think Joe Egerton was in the movie, and he was. My number 9 is The Last Duel. Last Duel was a movie directed by Ridley Scott, and it was really my last movie of Ridley Scott that I really enjoyed. Basically, it stars Matt Damon, Adam Driver, and I forget what the girl's name was, but basically, it tells an event, and you find out. It's 3 different perspectives of the events. So you have Matt Damon's perspective. He's like, "Oh, I'm the hero in this story," and then you hear Adam Driver's version of the story, where he was like, "Oh no, I was the hero in this story," and then you hear Jodie Comer's version of the story, which the movie alludes to. It's like this was the true story. I mean, that was kind of forced upon. I would have rather the audience figure out who that real version of the movie is, but. It was like she was raped. So she was like, "No, I'm not going to be a victim in this." And it's really like, well, whoever wins this duel, if he wins, you're burned at the stake, because that's just the era we live in. And I thought it was really interesting. It was just, I love seeing different perspectives, because I might say tomato, you might say tomato. And that's all history is perspective. So I love The Last Duel for that aspect of it alone. And also the movie has a lot of Rashomon elements to it. A great Kira Kurosawa movie that is great. My number 8 is Kingdom of Heaven, another Ridley Scott directed film. The director's cut of this movie is very good. This tells the story of one of the Crusades. It has Orlando Bloom. He is a soldier who goes off to Jerusalem to try to rediscover his faith. And then you have the Crusades going on, the battles. And, the Crusades is where I always point to Christianity as they're not always the good guys. And they wage holy wars for 1,000 years against Muslim, Islamic people, all in the name of Christianity. So, religion has never really been the strongest staple of what you should fight for, because we're like, really, we're using this idea of religion in order to expand our territories into this new territory. And that's all the Crusades really was. It wasn't about, we need to bring the Holy Lands back under the rightness of Christianity. No, that's not what it was about. It's about, we want these resources, we want these lands. So, I really enjoyed the movie. It's great. It's a movie I really want to rewatch. We were going to get to rewatch it, but it was a 3-hour movie, and it was like 7 o'clock, and the girlfriend was like, "No." My number 7 is my cheat on this list, because I did say this movie would have gunpowder in it, and this one does, but we don't actually ever really see a battle in the movie, and that is Lincoln. Lincoln is the Daniel Day-Lewis where he becomes Abraham Lincoln. This movie is absolutely incredible. Daniel Day-Lewis becomes Abraham Lincoln. It's like we got into a TARDIS, we picked up Abraham Lincoln and said, hey, just talk to us for a little bit. And that is the movie. And but it's also about the passing of the 13th Amendment, and it's just such a powerful movie. Steven Spielberg directs the hell out of this, and I absolutely love Lincoln. It's definitely one that I've rewatched a few times, and it's one I'll rewatch again one day. My number 6 is Yojimbo. This is a samurai film. It tells a story about this samurai who wanders into a town where you have these two gangs who are fighting control over the town. And he's basically manipulating both sides all into his favor and trying to basically reap as much benefit as he can. But he's also fighting for the town to get rid of these two gangs. And it's such a good movie. And this also was a movie that was remade by Clint Eastwood in A Fistful of Dollars. And yes, I do enjoy the Yojimbo version, the true original version, over the Fistful of Dollars. Even though I love that Fistful of Dollars, Yojimbo for me is a better movie. And I also love that they brought in a gun into fight in the movie, where in Fistful of Dollars it was the rifle that was the advanced weapon. In Yojimbo it's the pistol, which a pistol in a samurai where it's nothing but swords and spears and bows would give someone an edge. So yeah, Fistful of Dollars is great. Yeah, Yojimbo is great. My number 5 is Lawrence of Arabia. Lawrence of Arabia is a movie I've only seen one time, and it's a movie that I would definitely want to check out again. It's a very long movie. If I remember right, it's about 3.5, maybe even 4 hours long of a movie. And it just tells a story about Lawrence, how he's in Arabia, how he is trying to help the people. He goes through this journey, and also you have Sir Alec Guinness played in this character that's really good. This movie is great. The cinema scenes of the desert is absolutely incredible. And like I said, it's a movie that I definitely want to watch again one day, and it's just such a good one. My number 4 is Gone with the Wind. Okay, I guess I lied at the beginning about movies that didn't have gunpowder, but I guess this is technically movies that would be set before 1900. Let's go with that instead. So, Gone with the Wind is a historical epic. It's about this family who is right in the deep of the South, who is trying to survive the Civil War, and then how they have to rebound during Reconstruction. And also, it's a love story between Scarlett and Clark Gable's character. And the movie has one of the greatest lines to tell a woman off. And she goes, well, I mean, what I will do after she realizes she actually loves him and wants to be with him. And he goes, frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn. It's just absolutely incredible scene. I absolutely love Gone with the Wind. It's one that I could watch right now. It's a long movie, and it's funny, in the Blu-ray version of the movie, it does have the intermission. My number 3 was a movie I alluded to earlier, and that is Rashomon. Rashomon might be my favorite Akira Kurosawa film, and just like in The Last Duel, it tells basically a murder happens, and you hear it from different angles of the different samurai and a woman involved, and it is such a cool. And you have to, at the end of the movie, you as the audience has to figure out what version of the story do you actually believe. And that's what makes this movie absolutely incredible, because once again, history is all about perspective. And I think Rashomon is just an incredible samurai film. It's not based off any certain event, but it's still, there was samurais in history, and Rashomon is just such a good one. Now, my top 2 movies are movies that are in my top 10 movies of all time. So my number 2 is Gladiator. The sequel that's coming out, it has such a hard shoe to fill, because I think Gladiator is a almost perfect movie. It's a perfect revenge story where Maximus' family gets wiped out. He has to basically go on this revenge tour about avenging his dead family, and how he has to become a gladiator. The characters are so good. Commodus, played by Joaquin Phoenix. Before he was a villainous Joker, he was a true villain as the Emperor of Rome, who is just such a menace, who is such a dick, and he's so good at that. And Russell Crowe acts his ass off in this movie. He's absolutely incredible in this movie. Gladiator, and the action scenes. The action scenes are awesome. I mean, it's just such a great movie. I so love Gladiator. It's a perfect revenge story. My name is Magnus Aurelius. Father to a dead son, husband to a dead wife, and I will have my vengeance in this life or the next. My number one movie is Braveheart. Braveheart is one of those movies that I absolutely love. It is my favorite Mel Gibson movie, my favorite movie he ever directed. His acting is also my favorite part. I mean, the eyes, like whenever he's portrayed by Robert De Bruce, you could just look like his soul has been shattered. And the fight scenes, the Battle of Stirling, the speeches, they may take your life, but they'll never take your freedom. Fight with me. And just the strategies and the fight scenes, and then the revenge element where he's avenging his wife, but after he loses, he feels nothing. Wine no longer has that taste. All he has is his burning to free his people, free the Scots from the English. It's just such a great movie, and that's why Braveheart has to be my number one. Like I said, 1 and 2 are always interchangeable, but for me, Braveheart is like one of my top 5 movies. I think top 4 movies of all time. So I had to include it on this list. So guys, what's your favorite historical epic? I mean, I could have done top 10 revenge movies, and that would have been a pretty cool list to do as well. And I might get to do that one day, but spoiler alert, you know what number 1, number 2 is. So guys, are you looking forward to Gladiator 2? Whatever your thoughts are, comment below. Let me know. Guys, if you like this video, thumbs up, subscribe, see more, and tell your friends about Easy Nation. Oh, too easy.